Well, it's official. The Denver Broncos are the most injured team in the NFL. Hello everyone and welcome to Denver Broncos Syndicate, part of the Sports Syndicate family of channels where we are dedicated to bringing you content about our favorite sports teams. I am your host, Gage Madrid, coming at you live from my kitchen, first on Denver Broncos Syndicate. Before we jump in, if you could just do me a massive favor and leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell, that would be absolutely awesome. We are just 25 subscribers away from 900, so let's see how fast we can get there. The Denver Broncos entered the 2022 season with pretty lofty expectations, and for a myriad of reasons, those expectations have not been met. From Nathaniel Hackett's struggles at head coach to Russell Wilson's struggles at the quarterback position, there have been a multitude of reasons why the Denver Broncos have struggled this season. That said, when you boil it all down, the biggest reason, in my opinion, that the Denver Broncos are struggling this season is the injuries. Jason from Over the Cap recently put out a chart that displays how much money, as of today, NFL teams have on injured reserve, physically unable to perform, or the non-football injury list. As of recording this video, the Denver Broncos have the second highest amount of money tied up on injured lists, with just over $48.6 million. Unfortunately, this chart has yet to reflect on the Denver Broncos' two most recent season-ending injuries in left tackle Garrett Bowles and cornerback Ronald Darby, who have yet to be placed on injured reserve. Once Bowles and Darby are officially placed on IR, the Denver Broncos will officially have the highest amount of money tied up on injured lists in the entire NFL, with $71.545 million. Aside from Bowles and Darby, the highest contributors on this list are Justin Simmons with $15.1 million, Randy Gregory with $14 million, and Tim Patrick with $8.5 million. The Broncos also have several players such as Tom Compton, Greg Dulcich, Javonte Williams, and Michael Ojemudia that tie up about $1.5 million to $2 million respectively. At the end of the day, some of these injuries have been absolutely devastating to the Broncos. The biggest one I can think of is obviously Javonte Williams, our top running back for the season and our potential breakout star, who now faces a long recovery from a multi-ligament knee injury. On top of that, you've got Tim Patrick, who, on top of being our number 2 wide receiver, was easily the best blocker in the wide receiver group. He's now gone, of course, for the year with an ACL tear that he suffered in training camp. So between those two guys, those are two of our biggest contributors on offense, quite frankly, and now they're both gone for the season. That absolutely blows. Then, of course, you got your starting left tackle, Garrett Bowles, the only offensive lineman who's at least played a somewhat average level this season. Then you've got Greg Dulcich, who's probably going to be in line to take over at tight end 1 because Albert Okwuegbunam has been benched, and Eric Saubert's played well, but at the end of the day, Eric Saubert and Andrew Beck are probably not going to be your tight end 1. And we did draft Greg Dulcich in the 3rd round for a reason. So eventually we're going to see him get an increased role once he does come off the injured list, which hopefully for him is going to be sooner rather than later. Even when Dulcich comes off this list, it's still going to not really alleviate a lot of the money on that list. You still have some significant contributors such as Justin Simmons and Randy Gregory. And once we get those guys back, yeah, that's going to alleviate some of that pressure. But at the end of the day, the Denver Broncos still have a lot of money tied up on injured lists. And what that translates to is a lot of key players tied up on injured lists. Now, I'm not saying that injuries are the only part of our problems here. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson have all had their issues. The defense, for the most part, has played lights out. But at the end of the day, the injuries have really cost us games. And they're going to continue to cost us games until we can get healthy. I'm curious, Broncos country, what are your thoughts on the Denver Broncos being the most injured team in the NFL? Drop those comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And while you're at it, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Gage Madrid NFL for even more Broncos coverage. And for now, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out and let's ride.